This is the Democratic Socialist Libertarian. I am here with in Jungian terms, I'm here with the guru mother of free beings, people who want to fight tyranny, and it is an honor to be here with Dr. Jill Stein.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Sure. Dr. Jill, I know you're in a rush, so we'll get right to it. 2020 presidential election, will Jill Stein be a candidate?
No, I will be supporting a Green candidate, and I will be working very hard for ranked choice voting to be adopted in as many states as possible so that we no longer have to deal with this blaming and shaming of people who vote outside of the duopoly of war and Wall Street, the two-party system. There's so much negative energy being cast on people who don't buy the status quo that's throwing us under the bus. And in fact, the largest block of voters are people who are not voting either Democratic or Republican, in fact, who are not voting at all. So there's enormous need for more voices and more choices. And that includes Greens and other independent parties. And ranked choice voting enables them to actually have a voice without being vilified.
Please define ranked choice voting in case anybody doesn't know what that means.
So it's a voting system that allows you to rank your choices. So you vote, number 1, 2, and 3. And if your number 1 happens to be an underdog who may not win, you can still rank that person first if that person really represents your values. If you're an anti-war person, or you support reparations or Medicare for all, and Joe Biden, say, is the Democrat, you can actually vote for what you want as number 1. And if your first choice loses, your vote's reassigned to your number 2. So there's never any question about splitting the vote or taking the vote away from someone or introducing some uncertainty into the election. You get to say exactly who is your first choice, and if they're not making it, who's your second, or then your third choice. So it completely ends this blaming and shaming of spoilers or blaming and shaming of voters who don't buy the Democrat-Republican war and Wall Street agenda.
Okay, last question. Dr. Jill, ketogenic diet, yay or nay? I'm not asking for a personal diagnosis, I'm currently on it, but where do you stand as a medical provider on the ketogenic diet, or do you have an opinion?
I have to pass on that. I'm actually practicing political medicine these days, not clinical medicine.
All right.
So I'm not up to speed on all the aspects of the ketogenic diet. Sorry about that.
I actually have a quick question.
Yeah, real quick.
How optimistic are you that we're going to be able to get our shit together
and survive?
To 15 years, yes, sure.
Pretty optimistic, I have to say.
You wouldn't be doing this before.
Well, the first time I was tricked into running for office, which was like back in 2000, I was very pessimistic because I was in my own little corner of kind of environmental racism and fighting to shut down polluting incinerators and coal plants and things like that are screwing communities of color largely and everybody else too. And that was really not going anywhere. And it was out of frustration in that fight that I got tricked into running for office. I ran for governor in Massachusetts in 2002. And I found once I got into this open space where there's a much more open public dialogue, which is how elections should be run. There should be a lot of open dialogue and town meeting type stuff and public forums. I found that there was so much energy for something else that wasn't being captured by the corporate candidates. To me, it was just intoxicating. It was so exciting to see that there is a revolt in full swing going on, and the challenge is to harness the power of that revolt. Because right now we're sort of 1,000 points of light, and I sort of discovered that's why political parties, or that should be why political parties, are useful. That's their function, is to help bring us together around an agenda that serves us, that puts people, planet, and peace over profit. And once we get together on those fronts of justice, we're a powerful force. We have the numbers, we have the vision, we have the insight, we have the moral authority. You know, just 44 million people alone, Gen Zs and millennials and Gen Xers, you know, you put them together, the number of people who are in debt, that alone is enough to win any election for any office right there. And bringing that issue along with, you know, stopping police violence and ending the pipelines that are ruining our communities and cleaning up our air and creating a Green New Deal that ensures everyone has the right to a job that creates a world we can live in, as well as healthcare as a human right and free public higher education.
Everything.
It's like we can do it just by transferring the military budget. Instead of destroying homes and schools, we can be building homes and schools. There actually are the resources to do that. That is a well-kept secret. And there are enough people who are really hurting for fundamental and profound change that there's no question that we can succeed. The challenge is, can we just do the organizing to bring us together? And I'm just seeing a whole lot of really exciting, serious organizing happening right now.
Okay, thank you
I'm
to my
excited.
oh yes, thank you to my producer for saving the Hindenburg ketogenic question. Thank you for that. My
Not quite to the mooring mast, all the humanity and all the fans feeling.
apologies for that. That went down in flames, but she revived it. And thank you most of all, Dr. Jill. I really appreciate
Thank you so
everything you
much.
do.
Glad to do it. Thank you so much.